Did you know most British people say sorry around 8 times a day? And what's interesting is only about 20% of those are to actually apologise. Why is that? Let's find out. Hello, it's Keith from Keith Speaking Academy and the YouTube channel English Speaking Success, where you become a confident speaker of English. Now, we use sorry in British culture quite a lot, right? 8 times a day, that's over 200,000 times in a lifetime. We often use sorry to apologize, right? When we've done something wrong, for example, when we bump into people, sorry. And here's a strange thing. Even if somebody bumps into us, we say, sorry. Sorry. But they bumped into me. Why do we do that? I think it's because we want to make them feel comfortable, because we assume that they have bumped into us by accident, right? Not only do we use sorry to apologize, we use sorry to complain. In a restaurant with the waiter, I'm sorry, but this food is cold. The boss with their worker, I'm sorry, you're late again and it's just not good enough. Interesting, right? We also use sorry to talk to strangers. Now, here's a curious thing about British culture. We never speak to strangers. In public places, like on a bus or in a queue or waiting for a train, never. Unless we want to ask something and then we use sorry. For example, sorry, is this the right train for London? Sorry, are you queuing for the... Okay. Strange, right? And I think the sorry is sorry to disturb you, and you want to ask something. It reveals a lot about British culture, I think. So in this video, right, I'm going to focus on different ways to apologize using different words and expressions. We'll look at 3 things: informal contexts with family and friends, slightly more formal, and then very formal contexts, more professional settings. Okay, do remember there is a free PDF that you can download to review this language and to practice it after the lesson. All right, let's get into it. Okay, let's begin with sorry. We can use this for every context, actually, but let's look generally: family, friends, or maybe socializing at work. This is the most common way to apologize. Imagine you're meeting a friend or a colleague socially and you're late. You're going to say, oh, I'm late, sorry. Or, I'm sorry, I'm late. Or, I'm sorry for being late. I'm sorry for being late. I'm sorry for doing something, okay? Even in a work situation, right? Your boss may say, you forgot to send me the report yesterday. Oh, I'm sorry, I'll send it right away. Absolutely fine. It's the most flexible way to apologize. You don't have to say, I'm sorry. You can just say, sorry, I'll send it straight away. Sometimes we say, sorry about that. Okay. You forgot to send the report. Sorry about that. I'll send it straight away. You're late again. Sorry about that. I'll be on time next time. Honest. Or even in a meeting when you steal the boss's chair. You're sitting in my chair. Oops. Sorry about that. Embarrassing. Now, when you're with friends, colleagues, etc., you can also say, this is very informal, my bad. My bad. Hey, you've put sugar in my coffee. My bad. I'll get you a new one. My bad is a very American expression, actually. We are using it more and more in Britain as American pop culture invades spreads across Britain through Netflix and everything. So you hear that even in Britain now, my bad. I think we would tend to say, my fault, my mistake, sorry, my fault, sorry, that was my fault. All of these are good, right? For example, a colleague may say, listen, that email, you forgot to put the attachment in the email. My mistake, I'll resend it. My bad, I'll send it again with the attachment. The other day, I was driving with my daughter, taking her to another birthday party. We're driving along. She's on the phone navigating for me. And she goes, right, turn right. And I miss the turning and I carry on. And she says, oi, Dad, you've missed the exit. Oh, my bad. I'll turn around. Now, sometimes, in addition to my mistake, my bad, sorry, we add the word whoops. 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 Sorry about that. Whoops. My mistake. In very old English, we might say, whoops-a-daisy. And if you've seen the film Notting Hill, do you remember the scene, right, with Hugh Grant and where he's trying to climb into the garden and Julia Roberts is behind him and he slips and he says, whoops-a-daisy. And she laughs, being American, and says, you don't really say whoops-a-daisy in English, do you?
Right. Yeah, whoops-a-daisy.
What did you say?
Nothing.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
You said whoops daisies.
No one says whoops-a-daisies, do they? I mean, unless
There is no one left, because no one has said whoopsie daisies for, what, 50 years?
So, of course, we never say whoops-a-daisy, do we? Whoops. Let's move on. Okay, let's look at slightly more formal situations. First of all, professional, and then secondly, personal, but a little bit more formal. Professional situations, we may say, my apologies, or just apologies. For example, imagine you've booked a room in a hotel, you arrive at the hotel, and you want to complain. Notice how I complain. Sorry, but I booked a double room and I've actually got a single room. Oh, my apologies, sir. I'll sort that out immediately. Okay. You may also say, I apologize, using the verb, I apologize. Maybe you're complaining to a supplier. You say, listen, we received the wrong shipment yesterday. Oh, I apologize for the inconvenience. We'll send you the correct order as soon as possible. On a more personal level, you may be in life, you may argue with your partner, and after an argument, you might say, forgive me, or even please forgive me. And then, again, it depends on your relationship, right? But maybe your partner says, I'm really hurt about what you said to me. Oh, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I didn't realize it would hurt you. Even a bit stronger, you could say, I owe you an apology, meaning I must give you an apology. Again, maybe after an argument with your partner, you might say, I owe you an apology. Your partner's been texting you and you've ignored the messages because you're so busy. Hoi, you ignored all my messages last week. Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. I owe you an apology. I was just so overwhelmed and busy at work. I shouldn't have ignored you. Okie dokie. Let's move on. Finally, let's look at more formal situations. And I'm thinking here, for example, with a customer where you want to really make sure that you apologize deeply and that you carry on the relationship. You may say, please accept my sincerest apologies. It could be, please accept my apologies, but if you want to pour it on and be really emphatic, please accept my sincerest apologies. For example, imagine you send them an invoice. This is actually to a customer, right? You send them the invoice, they've bought something, but the invoice is full of mistakes. And they get on the phone and say, listen, they want to complain. listen, I'm sorry, but there were a lot of errors in this invoice and I'm not happy about it. Oh, sir, please accept my sincerest apologies. We'll review it straight away and send you a corrected version. Sorry about that. You can put them all together, right? You can mix them and add them depending how much you want to emphasize and how much you value the relationship. The last one, this is a formal situation and we're coming back to I'm sorry, and we use this at a funeral. If someone has died or passed away and you want to say something to the family about, you want to give your condolences, right? You would say, I'm sorry for your loss, or my deepest condolences. But the most general one, I'm sorry for your loss. Hopefully you don't need to use that, but useful to know, I'm sorry for your loss. That then are different ways of apologizing and using sorry. So there we have different ways to apologize and to use sorry, informally, more formally, and very formally. If you've liked this video, do like it. Remember to subscribe. What are you going to do next? Well, download the free PDF. Just leave your name and email address. You can download it straight away. You can review the language, practice saying the words out loud, just repeating the phrases, and then starting using them when you have an opportunity to practice. Remember, practice makes perfect. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, my friend. Bye-bye.